Committee on Parole's call to order today is Thursday, March 30th, 9:26 a.m. My name is Brendan Kelsey. Along with me is Ms. Cheryl Renata, Mr. Alan Rocha will be panel. Staff report seated airport in Baton Rouge. Our remote location is Webster. Would Bayou Dorche would staff and support please introduce yourself there?
Timothy Voss.
This is Major Culpepper, Webster Parish.
All right, Major. Good. We're ready for our first case. Please introduce yourself, state your name and DOC number for the record.
Timothy Voss, 6/24/1990, 7/4/3264.
Oh, back up. 6/24/1990. I got that. What is your DOC number?
74/3264.
All right, you heard the introductions while the parole interview. Ask you some questions. You can respond. At the end, you can make a statement. We'll take a vote. You understand the process?
Yes.
We have Claudette Lynette Voss and Vaughn Voss who will speak at the appropriate time.
Yes.
Timothy Voss, DOC number 743-264, second class offender, not eligible for good time. Full term 12/17/2024. You're a 5-year sentence. Decent behavior with a juvenile, unlawful use of social net web. Does that sound correct? You were revoked in 2020. Does that sound correct?
Yes.
All right, would you answer Mr. Roche's question, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Voss. How are you?
I'm all right. And yourself?
Good. I'm good. Thank you for asking. Mr. Voss, you're currently 32 years old, is that correct?
Yes.
And you are a second offender, is that correct?
Yes.
And your first conviction was for indecent behavior with the juvenile, is that correct?
Yes.
And then you were given a 5-year sentence. The judge chose to suspend that sentence, and you were given 2 years active supervision. Is that correct?
Yes.
And less than a year later, you got convicted of unlawful use or access to social media, which was a violation of your supervision. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you got sentenced to a 2-year sentence, and it was the one concurrent with the original 5-year sentence that the judge imposed after you were arrested. Is that correct?
Yes.
Tell me about your disciplinary conduct since you've been incarcerated.
I have 2 write-ups, but that's been thrown out.
Sir, tell me what the write-ups were for.
One was for hoarding medication, and the other one was for property damage. But they have they already gave me disciplinary for it.
Sir, the first one was contraband, am I correct?
Yes.
When was that?
That was 3 years ago.
That was 3 years ago,
Yes.
in 2020.
Yes.
Tell me exactly what date it was.
Well, I was up to the nurse, and he basically.
So when was it in 2020?
I cannot recall that.
And what was the second disciplinary write-up?
Property damage,
And when was that?
and 3 years ago, in 2020.
Okay. And that was the last disciplinary write-up you had.
Yes.
Okay, tell me what your current job assignment is with.
I'm sorry.
Tell me what your current job assignment is.
Oh yeah. I'm in the SOT program, and
So you're in the sex offender treatment program?
yes,
Okay. At what stage are you in the sex offender treatment?
I just took my phase 4 test yesterday.
Just took your phase 4 test yesterday.
Yes.
So you completed the first 3 phases.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me what your transition plan is if you're released.
I'm sorry?
Tell me what your transition plan is. Where do you plan to live and where do you plan to work?
Well, I am going to be living with my parents for the time being. They have bought me a house next door to them, and I'm gonna be living with them for the time being. And then when my house gets all repaired out, I will be moved in right next door to them. And as for the job situation, I have been on disability my whole life. And I could never keep a job because of my disability, which is ADHD, ADD, and bipolar.
Are you on any mental health medication?
Yes, I am.
And what is that medication?
It's up in the Voss DOC facility.
What, how many medications do you take and what are those medications?
I take 3 pills, and one of them is Cyprexa, and the other one is Triliptol, and I cannot recall the last one.
Okay, that's okay. When were you originally diagnosed?
I was diagnosed at 8 or 9 years of age.
Okay. Now, have you gotten that address with your parents approved by probation and parole yet?
I don't understand the question.
You said you're gonna live with your parents.
Right.
Has that address been approved by probation and parole?
It was approved on probation, and if granted parole as of today, I will be using their address for me to live with them until my house is all repaired out.
And what you're telling me is why you were on probation the first time and you were living with your parents.
I've made some mistakes along the way.
Sir. Listen to me clearly. You were living with your parents when the judge gave you probation the first time. Is that correct?
Yes,
So that address is okay as far as being within the parameter of the no schools, no daycare centers, no parks,
no,
no countries where a juvenile would frequent.
there is no schools, parks, daycares, none of that around.
Okay, great. Your victim was unidentified. She was a 16-year-old female, but we could not identify that victim, so we could get no feedback on this hearing. You have expressed opposition from the judge, the DA, and law enforcement. You have a moderate risk assessment. You have a poor supervision history. The judge gave you an opportunity to do 2 years of supervised probation. That probation would have ended in 2021, but you saw fit to violate that supervision, and as a consequence, you're incarcerated right now. Is that correct?
Yes.
Major Culpepper, do you have any input, any remarks or comments?
I do have one of the staff members for the mental health here that would like to speak on his behalf.
Okay.
Right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Logan Turner. I'm one of the counselors here, part of the SOTU program, our sex offender treatment unit. Mr. Voss in our classes has done very well. He pays attention, he participates. He has shown a lot of improvement. He has done well on the tests. Do not have a current grade on his phase 4 yet, but he's done well in the past tests, so we don't really have too much of a concern about it. But throughout the classes I personally have had with him, he's done great, paid attention, and participated.
I thank you.
Yes,
Yeah, would you, Mr. Knopf has a question.
When is it anticipated he'll complete that last phase?
the end of May, May 26th.
Okay, thank you. I have a question of Mr. Voss. Mr.
Okay.
Voss, you were on probation. What was the address of?
103 Brunei Street.
Okay. And what is the relationship now, if any, with Katie?
Relationship. It's over and done with.
Thank you.
All right. Now we'll hear from Ms. Claudette Voss. Would you like to make a brief statement, Ms. Claudette? Turn the mute off. There you go.
Can y'all hear me?
Can.
I would like to say that when Timothy was on probation before, he talked me into letting him live in an apartment a few miles away from us. We're not going to do that this time. This time he's going to be right next door to me so I can keep an eye on him better. And there will not be any Katie Dion's living with him. I will be seeing to that. I'm hoping that he learned his lesson this time, that he will stay off of social media and whatever rules y'all assign to him for this time for his probation. That's what I'd like to say.
All right, thank you. All right, would Mr. Vaughn like to make a statement?
Yeah, I will be able to keep Timothy busy over here, you know, we're gonna try to find him a job somewhere. But he will stay busy because that house that I bought from him next door needs a lot of repairs, and I'm planning on him at least showing him a trade and how to do home repairs and stuff like that. So he should be busy for a good while over there.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for your comments. All right, Timothy, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
Not at this time.
Okay, great. Panel prepared to vote?
Yes,
Mr. Rocha.
Mr. Voss. When you were arrested and convicted of indecent behavior with the juvenile, the judge saw fit to sentence you to 5 years and suspend that complete sentence.
Right.
And you took it upon yourself to move out of your mother's home, move miles away so that they could not monitor your activity. And you went on social media and did some horrible things and you got caught, arrested, convicted, and revoked.
Yes.
You are a poor supervision risk. You have expressed opposition from the DA's office, law enforcement. You're a repeat sex offender. And you have a moderate risk assessment, which tells me in this panel that you have a moderate chance of reoffending. For all those reasons, I'm going to deny your request for early release.
Ms. Renata?
Mr. Voss, I'm glad to hear from the treatment staff that you're doing well in the program. That's really encouraging. However, based on the moderate risk score, the failed probation, and the proximity of your full-time release date, my vote today is to deny.
And I vote to deny your parole for the same reasons as stated. 3 votes to deny your parole's been denied. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
9:40 will adjourn. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Major.
Man, I'm just glad that they denied him because that was pretty scary. You know, it always amazes me. It's all just, well, when they first read off his that it was a second time offender and he had a 5-year sentence, I just knew. I knew that it was going to be for this type of crime, for indecent behavior with a juvenile, because we see that so many times, these 5-year sentences. And then to hear that a judge gave him probation, it's like, are you kidding me? Why? Because what about, why? You know, I tried to get access to some type of news on it. All I saw is there's an article in 2019. This is a 28-year-old man was arrested on multiple child sex charges. But when I try to get into the article, I'm blocked out of it. I actually paid for to take the paywall down, but it's not registering that I have an account, which is quite frustrating. So now I need to deal with that headache. But anyways, I think that they mentioned that she was 15 at the time. And I mean, this entire situation, he's just like this, he's like a pathetic cockroach is what I like to say about him. Can you imagine he's on government assistance? He's like getting paid by the government for disability because he is ADHD and says bipolar too. And I mean, he definitely looks like and acts like there's something wrong with him. But he also leaves me with the impression of someone who's been babied and spoiled brat and given everything by his parents. I mean, you listen to them just there, they're like, we bought a house for him next door. He's going to be busy fixing it up. I'll teach him some skills. He's 32 years old. He's not like he's a teenager. You bought him a house and he doesn't like, you're going to teach him to start now at like, and the mother was like, he talked me into getting an apartment down the road. I won't let him talk me into that this time. And then we don't know what he did, but he went online and did, I think to quote Mr. O'Shea, horrible stuff, or he did horrible things on Facebook, which I can only imagine had maybe something to do with, you know, cyber stalking and all those different things you can do to humiliate someone or stalk someone. And yeah, he's just like a despicable human being as far as the information that I have, as far as I'm concerned. And it just upsets me. I mean, I could imagine, okay, so I saw a case the other day that Richard had sent me where one of these cases went to trial, where it was like a stepfather had abused his daughter like from the age of like, I don't know, under 10 or something, 6 or up until, and it went to trial. And I'm putting it together. I'm going to put it up on my backup channel, Mandy Channel 2, when I'm done with it. And what I learned from that case was that trials are really complex when it comes down to these things. It's, you know, there are no witnesses. It's his word against hers. They have to take the stand. They have to relive the trauma. Anything can happen at any moment from a witness that can create a mistrial. Very easy look for mistrials to happen. You can have hung juries. You don't know what will happen. So, you know, the judge gave this person a plea deal. Oh, 28 years old, the lawyer would have said that he has no record. He's got disabilities. And the judge said, you know what? Okay, I'll suspend it, but don't do anything. And then this cockroach goes out and can't even control himself. And he you know, thankfully got caught, and now he's going to serve his full 5-year sentence. But yeah, the guy gave me the creeps. And you just got to feel bad for the parents, but at the same time, it's like, it seems like they're, you know, just like letting him, like, just like spoiling him. Again, you know, it's just a few minutes to make a judgment call based on it. But when you hear that they're like, we bought him a house, So this guy's going to sit in this new house with no job, getting government subsidies when he's out of prison, and really he's going to stay out of trouble. Anyways, with that, I'll let you go. And I'm back because I found, I know this is kind of weird to to be looking at myself. I found an article. So let me share it with you. Here it is. Here is our champion, Timothy Scott. If that's not a scarier picture, then I don't know what is. Dude. And as far as we know, he was completely sober. I mean, we don't have any charges on that. But what I'm about to share with you is only going to, well, it only got me more infuriated, because we're going to find out that there was a lot of money invested. Oh, I just realized you can't even see it. Let's zoom back in to our champion over here. Here we go. This handsome fella. Just your typical boy next door, you know? To think how scary it is that there's this creep that is going on the internet and preying on, because that's what he was doing. So let's go through this article. A 28-year-old man was arrested on multiple. I'm not going to say these things because the more I say them, YouTube just punishes the listings, and then no one gets to see them. So I'm going to try to be a little bit more YouTube friendly. Just totally crazy. Like, why does YouTube do that? It's just so absurd. So absurd. Okay. So Timothy Scott, they leave his driveway and everything, was charged on January 17th with involving juveniles, indecent with juveniles, computer-aided solicitation of a minor, the Louisiana Attorney General office said. Authorities began investigating Voss after receiving a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. So that's interesting. I do wonder who gave that tip, how that worked. In a statement, the Attorney General, Jeff Landry, said Voss' arrest is part of an ongoing effort to combat child predators. He quotes, "Keeping Louisiana safe is a top priority in my office. We will keep working closely with our local, state, and federal partners to make our streets safer by bringing child." And I do think, now I know he didn't show up to this case, but I think that I recall they did leave a statement saying that they oppose his release. And it's great that they have an effort to do this. I just wish that well, maybe, you know, I wish that we would see it reflecting in more sentences. Now, listen to this. This is the part that really gets my blood boiling. The arrest resulted from a joint investigation of Louisiana Bureau of Investigation, Homeland Security, FBI, and the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office. So if you can imagine, just think about what that cost in terms of resources, manpower, all that effort to track down this from harming children. And then the judge says, I'm going to give you a 5-year sentence. And not only that, but I'm going to suspend it. Explain that to me. I mean, you really have a judge that is sitting there and saying, you know what, let's let's agree, and then there's some two-facedness going on here, I think. Because you have this attorney general saying we're keeping our city safe, we're doing all this, our state safe, we're doing all this stuff, but then they agree to a plea bargain. They don't go to trial. Like, to me, that just seems like you're grabbing headlines, and then, you know what? Okay, let's just go and take a plea deal. And then the judge says 5-year sentence, that's it, and I'll suspend it. When are they going to learn? Like, it seems like so commonsensical to us on the outside that people, cockroaches suffering serious mental disease, there's a defect, there's something wrong with him. And you're still going to just give him a 5, like not even a slap on the wrist. It wasn't even a slap on the wrist. And I don't think it was. And then, so what happened, he picked up a new charge too, is what I realized watching it a second time. He went back, his mother, I'm going to have a drink of water. His mother lets him, he moves into a new apartment. I don't, how is it that the judge, they didn't even set parameters? He has, whatever. So he gets his own apartment, and he gets right back on the internet, and he picks up new charges. It wasn't only that he violated his probation by going onto social media. Get this, he actually went and did it again. And then he only got slapped with another 2 years, which is what he's serving now. So a second-time offender, after getting just a slap on the wrist, goes back and does it again and only gets an additional 2 years, which is thankfully going to run concurrently with his 5 years. So I guess it's a total of 7 years. But what do you think he's going to do when he gets back out? Yeah, he's going to move into the house they bought for him and just play video games all day, which he is very welcome to do because he's getting paid by the government. Can you believe it? We have veterans that still can't get disability checks. And then we have this piece of trash that's getting paid by the government on disability because he has ADHD and bipolar. Can't make this stuff up. Anyways, I'll put the link in the description. And with that, I'll let you go before I blow a gasket.